I'll start off by saying thank you very much for agreeing to do this and welcoming us into your house on this grey afternoon in February. Now, we've got Duncan and Elsie Cormack here, and I'll start off by asking Elsie, you were born in Wick, am I right in thinking that?
Yes, born in Wick.
And whereabout, and what was it? Whereabout was your family living
I'm
at
very
the time?
much Punty too,
Uh-huh.
you know, because I was born, you know, at Bexley Terrace and things, you know, around that
Yes.
sort of area.
Uh-huh.
Nicholson Street and the whole of it.
Yes.
And then, but when we were quite young, we went and stayed in the roundhouse.
Oh, the Roundhouse, so a famous building there.
So that's where I was brought up, was in a roundhouse
now,
in Wick.
and was that in the 1930s, Elsie?
Yes.
Aye. So you were very close to the harbour, so you must have
Very
been
close to the harbour. Yeah.
quite involved in everything that was happening there, was you?
That was the days when there was a lot did happen at the harbour.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because you'd got, in the summertime, you'd got all the fisher wives coming, and they used to sit on a bench outside, you know, a house and watch out to the bay to see trawlers
Yeah.
coming in and everything, you know.
Yes.
And a lot went on at harbour in
Yeah.
that days. That was
Yes.
was it, you know. But we were just went to school at academy school at what's now Assembly Rooms,
Uh-huh.
and then the powers that be decided they would build a big school over at Wickside, the New North
So
School.
the North School, yeah.
So there was, at the time, there was a bit of ruction of it, you know, of it. They built this big school, so now they had to get enough people, you know, pupils into it.
Oh, I see.
So we were
Uh-huh.
decanted, you know, we were put over to the New North School. That even included children from Argyle Square in Wick,
Uh-huh.
you know, and with Alban, they had to pass the school, you know. We were
Yes.
actually down at about my Black Stairs right now.
Yes.
But, and at that time, there was building the Service Bridge.
Oh, aye.
But it's the Service Bridge, you know, now, you know.
Uh-huh.
And we had to cross that on a temporary swing bridge
Oh, yes.
to get from one side,
Mhm.
and we had to do that 4 times a day.
Did that bridge open upwards, or
no.
it
The
went
ri-
sideways?
The original one did.
Oh,
Yes,
all
but-
right, that's
aye.
right.
Yeah.
But this was just, and we would get to the end of the bridge, and it would be a windy day, and the bridge would be blowing, and we weren't sure, would we? But there was teachers always coming behind us, because the teachers walked in that days too,
Yeah.
and they would just say, "Poof, get going," you know,
Yes.
and you went.
Uh-huh.
You ran over the bridge, got the other side,
Oh, I see.
and we had to do that, as I say, 4 times a day, and up
You
Longshaw Road and the whole of that.
Yes, yes.
There
And
was
how old were you at this time?
Well, then my sister, my youngest sister actually started the school at the New North School when she, because the school opened, and then of course the war came,
Mm-hmm.
and its proximity to the airport, you can understand,
Yes.
it was taken over
Yes.
for offices and things like that, and we were all sent back to the academy school.
Uh-huh.
We didn't cry about that one, we were quite happy about
You were
that
quite
one, we were
happy with
nearer
that.
home, you know.
Yeah. I'll stop you there and I'll switch to Duncan now, because you were born in Ray, am I right? in
Yes,
thinking that?
I was born in Ray.
So your childhood would be quite different from Elsie's one. It would be in a village in the countryside sort of thing. Was it?
That's right, yes, we were born in Ray, and my father was in the police, he was a Bobby in Ray.
Oh, aye.
We were talking about 1924.
Uh-huh.
And in 1929, when I was 5 years old, my father was moved to Halkirk. So I went to school in Halkirk,
Yes, aye.
and I was there until 1936, which was 7 years.
Yes.
So the first 7 years in the school in Halkirk. My father was made up to sergeant and posted to Wick in 1936, and we stayed on the edge of the airfield,
Oh, aye.
at Henrietta Street.
Yes.
And well, the war came on then, of course, and we went to high school, and then the war came on, and in '39. So I left the school in 1940,
Right.
and I was 14 and a half then.
Right.
And there was a mate of mine from the same street. Both of us got a job in the NAFI, which is the Navy and Army and Air Force Institute,
Mhm.
which supply, ran the canteens and stores.
Mhm.
And we got a job in the store, as storeman, or
Mhm.
store boys, whichever.
Yes.
And we were there until 1940, late on in 1940, near the end of 1940. And my father was made up the inspector and came up here to Thurso.
Right. I'm going back to the NAFI now. This was in Wick, was it? The NAFI?
It was in there on the airport.
It was at
On the airfield.
on the
It
airfield.
was just right behind the hangar.
Uh-huh.
And we had RAF, and you had the army guards around the place with bayonets and rifles
Yes.
and bayonets and so on and so forth.
So you must have felt quite pleased with that sort of job.
We were.
Yes.
We were highly delighted. They had
Yeah.
Bren gun carriers going about and things like that. There was
Yeah.
activity, well, all 24 hours.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And you had different planes coming out and we got to know, we made a study of the aircraft, all the different varieties,
Mhm.
and we could even tell what type of aircraft it was without looking up.
Really?
We hit by their engine
The
noise.
sound of the engine.
You see?
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you could even know the difference between the different planes that made a different noise.
Uh-huh.
And then when they, at one time, there was a raid on Orkney, and it was in the late summer of 1940, and we could see the anti-aircraft shells bursting in the sky, and of course all the hurricanes and everything in Wick at that time were on the go, and you had
Yes.
Skitton Aerodrome and Castleton.
Yes.
And there's one evening, early evening, when we heard this noise, and we were watching the shells exploding in the sky. And fear thrilled to bits, of course, sitting up on the garden dyke.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I heard this noise of aircraft engines right above our head. And we were confused actually, but when we looked up, here was this Heinkel bomber and two Hurricanes on his tail, one on each side, port and starboard. They had been in contact, obviously, over the Firth, Benton and Firth, and they had shot him, and he was forced to land. So he landed, his wheels were up, he just landed a belly flop on the grass beside the hangar
Mm-hmm.
at the airfield.
I have a photograph of that plane.
Have you?
Yes.
Aye. Well, we, the next morning, of course, we went to our work in the morning at the NAFI stores,
Mm-hmm.
and the rumours were going about and stories were going about what happened, and it turned out that the two of the crew had been killed, and the other two, the pilot and the navigator, decided that, well, they were not going to get back to Germany, so they would better land rather than land in the sea.
And
Because
they
they
became prisoners of war.
Yes. So next morning, we after our lunch break, we went out and about, and we keeked round the side of the hangar to see this big bomber with black crosses on it. And we noticed, the first thing we noticed, of course, we were looking for bullet holes, and it was just full of bullet holes.
Yes.
And particularly the rear of the aircraft, where the rear gunner had been killed. But there was, the two that survived were taken under guard down to the police station in Wick and locked in the cells there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were interrogated later on by the intelligence officers.
Yeah. Yeah.
My father told me this after he came home off
Yeah.
duty.
Yes.
the-
Yes. That was quite an interesting event. Can I ask you one question? How much were you paid working in the NAFI? Can you remember?
7 and 6
7 and 6
a week.
a week. Right. On that note, I'll go back to take you both back to 1939 now, because before the war actually broke out, you were having drills and things in the school, were you? And we got your gas mask and all that sort of stuff. You remember that?
Well, the war, you know, like boys saw war different than girls saw war,
Yes.
as far as that goes. We didn't, we, at the early on, we didn't realise, really. We were 8, 9, 10-year-old. You just didn't realise what it was all about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We got issued with gas masks. We had to take our gas masks to the school with us and things like that. Yes. But there was planes overhead. We knew all that sort of things, but we didn't, I suppose you really didn't think we'd hitting you at that time, you know. It was something that was going on in the world, well, in the country and the continent and that, you know. We knew different people that were in the forces. We knew, my dad was working actually with Duncan and Jameson's, the coal merchants, where he got moved. He had to go to Scrabster to work in Scrabster because at that stage there was a lot of troop movement going back and forth, and a lot of boats. So they had to see their boats were all, in that days they were coal burning boats. So they all had to be, so Dad was actually, went off on a Monday morning till Scrabster, till Thurso, and worked at Scrabster, came home then on a Saturday. So, you know, we didn't really, we saw them putting up sandbags, and we knew that you had to keep your lights off and all that sort of things, yes, but I don't think you can expect somebody at
You no real idea of what
age.
to expect.
You didn't really realise what it was all about.
I can,
you know.
I can understand that. Aye.
I think boys were more so because they, you know, what like boys are, you know, oh, you know, got a gun, you know, arrested, you know.
Yes.
This
So-
was all before the bombing.
Yes.
Before the bombing
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
at all.
Now, the first air raid on Wick was the 1st of July 1940, so
Yes.
you were both in Wick at the time, so that... how do you remember that day, Elsie?
I'll never forget that day.
Mm.
My aunt wanted to go over to a town to do some shopping. She wanted to go over for some particular things, over to Wick, as we would say from Huntly, we'd go over to Wick. And asked my mum if I would go up and look after the children. Well, she went. So up I went, and Mum says, oh yes, she'll go. And up I went to look after the 3 young ones, you know. So I was actually in Kinnaird Street. I wasn't down at the moment. Otherwise I would have been there with the rest. But the Lord moves in mysterious ways. And I was in Kinnaird Street and it went off. The bombs went off. And there was, nobody knew what it was. Nobody had any idea what, you know, really. Something had exploded and that was it, you know. And I took the 3 kids and went underneath the stairs. You know how there's always that under the stairs. Took them
Glory
in
hole
there.
under the stairs.
Obviously I had the presence of mind to take them. And my aunt actually hadn't got away. She had gone over, my uncle had a shop in Hudder Street, and she'd gone over to the shop. And of course this happened actually before she had, you know, was on her way to Wick. So of course everybody came running, she came running back. And literally everybody was running in every direction. And nobody knew, because there's a bit of difference between, I wanted to go home. I was going home with my mum. I said, Mum, I was going home, Mum. No, you can't go, can't go. You've got to look after the children. That's what you're here for. You've got to look after them, because I have to go to do something, so that's your responsibility, is looking after them. And I mean, when you were told you had to do it, you did it. Not meaning that they were hard or anything like that, it was just, you did it. You just, and the time went on, of course, and everybody is still there. And this person had been in with me for a wee while, a friend, you know, in my own age, she's dead now. And we went out to the door to see her. She was going back to her granny's. She had to go to her granny's, and I went to the door with her to go. And there was some folk out, boys, and they were out on the, and this one laddie says, "Oh, look at her there," he says, "and her mother and sisters and everybody killed in the bombing." And that was how I heard that it was a bomb, if you want to put it that way.
Right.
And well, you can understand.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what. And I had still had us 3 bairns I had to look after.
Yeah.
I couldn't, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, I wasn't allowed, didn't get to see my mum till late on that night. My mum was running in every direction.
Yeah.
My dad, he'd come down from Thurso and everything. So, the actual site of the bombing, you see, I didn't see it. I wasn't there at that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wasn't at the house or anything.
No.
And we were kept away from there for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
But Mum, one sister was injured. She was so badly injured that she was taken to the hospital. She was made comfortable, but they knew they couldn't do nothing for her. But she was still quite lucid and all that. And Mum went and saw her in the hospital, and because you must remember, everybody was running. Nobody had cars and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was, you know. And they couldn't find Beta. That was my youngest sister. So Mum said to Amy, you know, where do you leave Beta? She said, well, where did Beta go, you know? And she says, oh, she went down with Isabel, down to Isabel's man for a piece. You know, they went from one house to the other. And actually, Isabel and Betha was right at there was 2 cars that was cars parked there, and of course, Duncan understands about a type of bomb, but I don't. But I mean, it blasted out, like, you know, and it lifted the cars right up in the air and came back down again. And unfortunately, it came back down on the 2 children.
Okay.
But they were clearing us, finding us and that, and they didn't lift the cars. You know what I mean? They're trying to get people that,
Yeah.
you can understand that. That was, you know. And Mum went back again to Amy, and they still hadn't found Beta at that stage. She went back, and Amy says, did you find Beta? Did you get Beta, Mum? And she says, yes, she's all right, you know. Well, what do you say? Really? So Mum says, oh yes, Beta's all right, you know. And she says, you've got Elsie, you've got Beta, Mum, you'll be all right. A bairn that was dying, but she was so. Remember, Moore was a minister in a parish church at the time, Gordon Moore, and he was up at the hospital. We used to go to his Sunday school, you know, for one thing, he knew us all and I go there. But he wrote a bit in his paper about it, you know, about an example of a young, you know, 9-year-old, and not give it, you know, as if she knew she was going and she just. But my dad came down, as I say, he came down from Thurso and everything, and I'm still not allowed to go anyway. I'm still having to look after the bairns, and knew very little, you know, wasn't being told enough of them. But they worked it out, you see, as long as they kept me busy and having to look after the bairns, that kept me from, you know, that was partly what was behind it.
Yeah.
And of course they couldn't go back. We couldn't go back to the house that night or anything like that anyway. But it was late on that night when I just broke down. I couldn't take any more. I didn't know what was happening. I hadn't seen my dad, my mum, my sisters or anybody, you know. And Mum was up in my auntie's in Nicholson Street. And I went up there to see her. Was taken up there to her, you know. And I always thought my mum aged overnight. But that was just a grief, and
Yeah.
she just seemed to have gone white overnight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What I was told after was, then my dad said to Mum, they lifted the cars, and my dad says to Mum, had she got a red welly boots on? And Mum says, yeah, she says it was a slight shower, and of course she just got on this new red yellow boots, so she wanted this red welly boots on. And my dad says it's her. You can understand
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you for telling that.
when you recognise your own bairn with a pair of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they were told that the one coffin could be remained open, but the other would have to be closed. So it was my mum's wish that everybody remembered them as they were,
Yeah.
and that they both would be closed. You wouldn't want to look at one
No.
little leak, would you?
No.
You know.
Right. Were you in Wick that day too, Duncan?
Yes. Oh yes. Well, as I said previously, we were up in Henrietta Street,
Yeah.
at the edge of the airport, and we heard the bang, right enough, and there'd been a bomb drop, and a plane flew over, but that was all. I mean, I can't, to tell you the truth, I can't even remember was my father on duty or was he on night shift or whatever. But if he was off duty, he got called out, of course.
Yeah.
And all the ARP wardens and the special constables and everybody were all mustered to go down to Bank Road. And I didn't see anything of it. That was on a Monday. It was the first day of the school holidays, the 1st of July, apparently. And I didn't get down to that area until maybe the Wednesday afterwards and saw the wreckage. It was brought home to us right enough because my father was injured with shrapnel. Well, wounded is the proper word, by shrapnel. He was on duty down at the harbour at the time, and he told us afterwards that he'd walked past from the outer harbour along the road to past the roundhouse to the bottom of the Black Stairs and then along Bank Road. He had another gentleman with him at the time, and they'd gone past that area, Bill Smith's shop and Mackenzie's furniture shop, and were about 50 yards further on when the bombs dropped at their back, where the children were playing. And it's what a road that was made of bricks, in other words, but causeys they call it.
Cassie's, aye.
And it was percussion bombs that were dropped, 2 of them. So what happens there is that the percussion cap hits the hard road on the causeys and it blew. They exploded, and the damage is always caused by shrapnel and blast.
Yeah.
There's no deep hole, no
Yeah.
bomb crater,
I see.
nothing like that. Anyway, he sustained injuries in his back and his legs, and I mean, he was taken to hospital. And that's the first news actual that we had, that
Yeah.
father was in hospital.
Yeah.
So we went along to see him then, and well, it wouldn't be, I would think, somewhere around about tea time maybe. That day, and we went along with mother and along to the Bignell Hospital and saw him, and then it was a case of you were in for about quarter an hour, 20 minutes maybe, and then matron was going, everybody out, you know, everybody out.
Yeah.
The matron was the boss
Yes,
in the hospital
yes.
in those
Aye, it was
days.
quite a tough regime in those days, didn't it?
You see,
It
aye.
must have been
So,
terrible in the hospital.
I mean, that was as far as I'm concerned. That was as far
Yes,
as it went
yes.
with us.
Yeah, yeah. As far as I can tell from Norman Glass's book,
Yeah.
only other time that bombs actually fell in the town was in October, following October on Hill Avenue, when
That's
the
right.
Camerons' bungalow was
Yes.
destroyed.
That was on the 26th.
26th.
Strangely enough,
Yes.
it was Elsie's birthday,
Was it really?
26th of October.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that day, that was near us, of course.
Uh-huh.
We were in close proximity to that one, and we finished up that we knew the bombs had exploded. There was two Dorniers or Heinkels came, or two German planes anyway, came along that afternoon and dropped their load short of the airfield
Mm-hmm.
because they were at low altitude. They
Mm-hmm.
were only up about maybe 2,000 feet.
They're aiming for the drone.
Oh, they were aiming for the drone,
Yeah.
obviously, yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then there was a big panic, of course, in the ARP and everybody, and then the siren went.
Oh,
That was
Siren
the normal
always went
procedure. The
after
bombs
and then
dropped
went.
and then the siren went.
it's supposed to have been the other way around.
Exactly, but it never was.
Yes.
The reports were always... See, on both these occasions, these bombers came from the west, which is this side of Caithness.
Yes. Yes.
So they'd been at Scapa,
Yeah.
Flow,
Uh-huh.
but they got chased away.
They probably had Wick as a secondary target.
It's a secondary.
Yeah.
That's right. They must have come in on the shore here
Yes.
and cut across the county to Wattensay, presumably, and then
Yeah.
followed the Wick River
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And the new Wick airport was there, of course. The aerodrome was there,
Mm-hmm.
so they unloaded their load there.
Mhm.
But later on that afternoon, then lo and behold, there was the ARP and everybody was up, and we all had to be evacuated.
Oh.
There was an unexploded bomb about 100 yards from our house. It was Peter
Settlers.
Sinclair, who was a JP
Mm-hmm.
in Wick at the time, and a bomb fell in his garden, and it didn't go off. But in the process, the bomb, there was council houses across the street, double story, and the bomb glanced off the gable end, off the council houses, and went into his garden, and it failed to explode.
Yes.
So of course it was seen or found. The neighbours of course reported it, and the RAF guards came along, and the army guards and so on, and evacuated the whole street. And we were, well, my parents, I should say, were friendly with Willie Nichol, who was a coal merchant at the time, and he stayed in Coates Road. And we visited them occasionally, and lo and behold, they took us in for the night. So we
Oh,
were
right.
evacuees, in
Yes.
actual fact, for the night.
Yes.
We got back
Yes.
next afternoon
Uh-huh.
after the bomb squad had rendered it safe.
Oh, right. Did they blow it up or did they?
No,
defuse it?
no. They rendered it safe.
Uh-huh.
But it's Royal Engineers who were experts at these things, trained to do
Yes.
these things and deactivate a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And no, if it had blown up, well, a good part of the street would have disappeared.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
But it didn't, you see.
Uh-huh.
So they deactivated the bomb, and we were allowed back on it was on a
Mhm.
Saturday night, so
Mhm.
we were allowed back on the Sunday at tea time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was an experience in itself.
Yes, that's what it was.
Aye.
But this time we sort of getting over your tragedy a bit, back at the school and all that sort of. By October,
It was beginning of the holidays when it happened.
yes, but
You know,
I think by the time,
so-
by the October time, you were
Yes, all in
back at
October.
the school then. Were you?
October was my birthday and my brother's birthday.
All
The
right.
bomb fell that day, and we were, Mum and I were going ahead, and we went into the R. Simpsons, which was just beside Woolworths. And we went in there, and I don't know if you've ever been, it was ever in that shop when it was, you know,
And Ironmongers.
very
Yes.
open, and there was things and all this, you know. And of course the bombs dropped and everything. Everything rattled, you know, when a police like got dishes and all.
Oh yes, the
And
Ironmongers.
of course they're shouting, oh, get out of here, get out of here.
Uh-huh.
Because it was the type of police that could have just come down like a,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. That's quite some distance for Hill Avenue, but the
Yes,
the shaking
yeah.
effect.
Oh, yes. And we went right out, and of course there's all the people going to Woolies and that day, you know, going out to
Mhm.
Woolies, and all we were screaming for was my dad and my brother, we'd already lost plenty, we didn't
Oh,
want
yes.
to lose anymore, and
Yeah.
Mum and I went running out, and however Mum, Dad and William wasn't far behind us, and we just went home. We never went any other, we just...
Yeah. Yeah.
But, so I never forget either of bombings in Wick.
It's just those two occasions, was it?
There was one time we were out with guides a few years after that, you know, a while after that, you know, guides go off on a hike and
Uh-huh.
do a bit of
Uh-huh.
sausage sizzle and that, you know, and we were coming in what is there's a road, like, you know,
Mhm.
coming marching in.
Challenged it.
There, it's as everything was done.
Yeah.
Your feet, you didn't have any. And as we was coming, this plane came and it just went rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And we threw ourselves off screaming, you know, you
Uh-huh.
hear young lassies and all the rest of them. Threw ourselves out in the ditch, you know, screaming. I don't know, was it even us that they were hitting at? If you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's just that
You
the
reacted
plane
to the
came and
noise.
you
Yeah.
just...
Yeah.
And there was an old woman in a cottage just beside it, you know. And of course we were screaming and we came out the ditch. Some were cut, there were, you know, blood around them. But
Uh-huh.
it was actually we throwing yourselves in.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
nobody actually hurt
Yeah.
with the thing. But there was a army lorry was coming from Watton direction, you know, came along and it stopped. And we were all thrown in the back away.
All right. Uh-huh.
A lorry, you know,
Uh-huh. I'm taking on till we.
and taken to Wick.
Uh-huh.
Because there was nothing wrong with any of us really, except
Yeah.
that we were just all,
That's right.
we
yeah.
couldn't take
Yeah.
any more, you know, we were,
Yeah.
like Lower Punt, they lost their heart
Yeah.
when the bomb went, because we all played there, we all did.
Yeah.
Life was never the same again.
Aye.
You can understand that, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So, was the war still on when you finished the school, or
Yes.
Uh huh.
yeah.
Well, it's when you were 15 or 16, was it?
Left the school. I was supposed to have gone. My intentions was when I was young
Uh huh.
that I was going to go to Skerries College in Edinburgh.
Oh yes.
You know, like for short
secretarial work.
Secretarial
yeah.
work.
Mhm.
And when I went to the high school, it was I went into secretarial, you know, took a course in secretarial. But of course, after my sisters got killed, my dad said to me, "Well, you do understand you'll never be able to go and leave your mum,"
Oh.
which was true.
Uh-huh.
I was the only lassie she was left with. James was called up. He went in the Navy eventually, and you know, my older brother and my younger brother. So, oh well, I might as well leave school. I know.
Mhm.
So I've got 14 and a half, and got a job in the Procurator Fiscal's office in Wick.
Oh. Aye.
You know, I went there to work. You know,
Mhm.
and I worked there until I got married. And that day when you got married, that's how I met him.
Asking this because I was just going to ask. I mean, all this time that we've been talking about, did you know each other?
No,